Mr. Speaker, I rise to congratulate SpaceX on the Polaris Dawn mission, which is the first of 3 planned missions in the program and took astronauts in an elliptical orbit 870 miles from Earth. The 4 astronauts pictured here are Jared Isaacman, Scott Poteet, Sarah Gillis, and Anne Menon. Now, this mission set a number of records, a number of firsts. For example, it climbed higher over Earth than any human spaceflight since the last Apollo mission in 1972. It contributed to having the most humans in Earth orbit at the same time ever. It was the first commercial spacewalk and the first time 4 people were exposed to the vacuum of space at the same time. They even downlinked the first violin performance from space using Starlink, and it was the first time that Doritos were eaten from space with a special safe for space chip that was designed. As part of this, they collected data for future missions to the moon and beyond. Now, SpaceX, of course, is a company that started in California. I had the opportunity to tour their facility a few years back, and it truly is a marvel. The company is also vital to U.S. leadership around the world when it comes to space and is vital to our national security. This was recently underscored as NASA is now having to rely on SpaceX to bring home 2 astronauts that are stranded at the International Space Station. It's also underscored by the statistics. When it comes to delivering payloads into orbit, in Q1 of this year, 87% of the world's tonnage to orbit was delivered by SpaceX. 87% of the total tonnage delivered to orbit around the world was delivered by SpaceX. This includes commercial customers. It includes SpaceX's own Starlink system, which is providing internet to remote areas of the world. In fact, to some of my constituents in Death Valley, as well as to cruise ships and airlines. It also includes launches that are absolutely vital to U.S. national security and space exploration. So given what a tremendous asset this company is, it makes it all the more stunning that the company is being targeted in multiple ways and for frivolous reasons. Recently, the FAA fined the company $633,000 for trivial non-safety related reasons. And more concerningly, the agency has delayed Flight 5 of Starship for 2 months, again, for non-safety related reasons. Now, Starship is the largest and most powerful space transportation system ever developed. It's fully reusable and rapidly reusable in its design. And this 5th flight, they've already had 4 very successful missions where they've done better each time, and the idea is they iterate their design and they learn from each flight. This 5th flight, which is ready to go, would attempt to return the super heavy booster to the launch site and catch it midair using what they call their giant chopsticks. Now, this rapid reusability is completely already is changing the economics of space exploration and making it orders of magnitude more affordable. And it is truly a Herculean feat of technology and ingenuity in order to make this happen. And yet, we have these roadblocks that are being thrown in its way. And SpaceX itself put it this way: we continue to be stuck in a reality where it takes longer to do the government paperwork to license a rocket launch than it does to design and build the actual hardware. Now, when it comes to launching a rocket, obviously there are important regulatory concerns when it comes to safety. And the company has been steadfast in prioritizing safety, and it's important that that collaboration exists. But in this case, the reasons that they're being held back are completely unrelated to safety or any other legitimate public interest. In fact, the company has bent over backwards to comply with environmental regulations. There simply should not be delays related to paperwork or bureaucracy. The FAA and related agencies need to prioritize enabling launches, not standing in their way. Now, some have suggested that there might be political motivations here. I think that perhaps the broader issue might be one of cultural incompatibility, in the sense that when you think back to the lunar program, when you think back to President Kennedy saying that we'll put a man on the moon within this decade, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. And when you think about the way that the entire country was captivated when that vision ultimately came to fruition and what it meant for U.S. leadership in the world, for our national security during the Cold War, it was a way in which the country was able to come together around a truly awe-inspiring vision. And that is the sort of vision that SpaceX is pursuing, the sort of truly big and forward-looking thinking that captivates people's imaginations, that allows us to push beyond the limits of our current knowledge and to explore new frontiers. And there is just something perhaps about the nature of modern bureaucracies in this country that is incompatible with that way of thinking, and that when they encounter it, their impulse is not to facilitate it, but to throw roadblocks, to find trivial reasons to hold it back. And so I do think it is a moment to think about how we got to this point and the sort of reforms that we might make to our bureaucracy here and really across the board that will allow our government to be on the side of innovators, to facilitate innovation rather than constantly trying to hold it back. But notwithstanding, I know that SpaceX, as well as others in this industry, are going to push forward. I congratulate them on this latest history-making success and look forward to many more history-making successes in the years ahead. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I